For a fact, staff does not run our prisons. Within a year, maybe a little bit more or less, there's going to be more staff killed.
Saying someone's going to die in the next year is a pretty strong statement.
Yes, it's that dangerous.
More staff are getting assaulted by inmates inside Iowa's prisons. The numbers prove it. Through a public records request, KCCI Investigates found 23 staff members were seriously hurt by inmates in fiscal year 2022, almost double the number in 2021 and almost triple in 2019. A current corrections officer who spoke to KCCI Investigates on the condition of anonymity for fear of losing his own job said he was assaulted in the last few years.
If they're going to assault staff in prisons, what do you think's going to happen when they get back out on the streets?
A non-serious assault is where a corrections officer can be treated on site. A serious assault is where they need medical attention outside the prison. The number of staff assaulted non-seriously by inmates has also increased, peaking at 137 in fiscal year 2021, but remaining high 125 last year. An IDOC spokesperson highlighted the dropping number in 2022 and again so far this year for non-serious assaults, saying fiscal year 2023 serious and non-serious staff assaults should fall in line with pre-pandemic levels. But current and retired workers believe those numbers may be even higher.
I would imagine there's probably assaults every day to staff in Iowa. Just don't get reported.
Don't get reported, or they believe are reported as something else in what's called a critical incident report, filed anytime a staff member is assaulted.
I have seen incidents where, yes, staff have been injured and or assaulted, but it's not classified as an inmate assault.
KCCI requested the critical incident reports for staff assaults, which would show what happened in those assaults. But the Iowa DOC has refused to provide them. The current and former officers say they are constantly put in dangerous situations due to a lack of staff members inside Iowa prisons.
So we're down an entire shift of officers, and that's not unique at any institution. That's statewide, where you're down, a shift of officers, 60 officers.
Sometimes we had maybe even down to 8 people on a midnight shift.
Rick Islander, a former corrections officer himself, was the AFSCME Local 61 union president at the time we interviewed him, though he no longer leads the union. While he didn't have specific numbers of corrections officers across the state, he was able to pinpoint one institution.
I know Anamosa is 70 correctional officers short compared to what they should be. Now, DOC will have a different stance on that because they've lowered their minimum numbers.
KCCI Investigates also requested the number of staff members and corrections officers at each prison from 2016 to present. The records request denied, but DOC did provide overall number of DOC workers per year that it puts on its website. In 2021, DOC had 105 fewer overall workers than it did in 2016, but that number has slowly risen in recent years.
You have your main control office within the building, and then you have wings where the inmates live. Well, there used to be people on each wing, or 3 wings if there's a 3rd wing, and now they've cut down to 1 officer in that whole building.
Islander and the current and former corrections officers all say a lower number of corrections officers leads to more dangerous situations.
Not only does that put inmates at risk, it puts staff at risk too. I mean, when you lower numbers, there's problems.
Lower numbers also equal more overtime for the workers who are still on the job, typically in an overtime shift called a mandated shift, where officers are required to work another 8 hours after they finish their normal 8-hour shift.
There for a while, we were getting mandated every single day. We were working 16-hour shifts every day, 5 days a week.
How often does that happen?
Every day in every institution. It's a big problem.
KCCI Investigates also sent a records request for the number of mandated shifts from 2016 to now. That records request also denied.
When you're fatigued, you're tired, you don't have somebody watching your back, you don't have enough staff, that greatly affects you. And it should concern the public too.
More staff working longer, working more, and getting assaulted by the inmates they are sworn to protect.
We tell them about it, we tell them about problems. And sure enough, 2 people got brutally murdered. And if anything, I think it may have gotten incrementally worse. It has not gotten better.
They need more staff. They need help. That's the bottom line. That's why I'm here. They need to step in.